Hello, hello, everyone. Kelly Walters here. And as you can see, Brandi Vandergriff is joining me today as our special guest. I will give everybody just a little bit of time to kind of pop on. I know this is when the system typically goes out and notifies everybody that we went live. So we'll give you guys just a couple of seconds to hop on. If you are hopping on, feel free to tell us where you are tuning in from. Brandi, where are you coming live from?
I am coming from Kiowa, Colorado.
Yeah. Is it like chilly there? It's been chilly here this week, here in Kansas City.
It is 80 degrees right now. It is so nice.
60. It's 60
Oh,
here.
it's,
And you have mountains.
I do. I'm looking at them right now.
Oh my gosh. Hello, hello. I can see that you guys are starting to join on just a little bit more. Okay, now Carly is on the other side, so you will see her in the comments for both Facebook and YouTube. She will basically help answer any questions if we miss them. And then, of course, if there's any links to products that we're talking about, she'll make sure that you guys have access to those as we are. Are you coughing or sneezing?
I'm coughing.
So we'll make sure that you guys have access to those, and we'll just keep it flowing. So we are changing it up just a little bit. If you saw our stories, reels, TikTok, then we're letting you guys kind of go on this adventure with us. So we wanted to start bringing on people. Oh my gosh. Hi, Princess.
Hi, Kinsley.
And really kind of dive into the world of heat decorators. So whether you are somebody that's experienced, maybe you've had a shop for 30 years, maybe you're looking at starting a shop, or maybe you started this during the pandemic and you've been doing it for I guess it's 2 years now, but it feels like a year. We all lost a year. So Brandi she was our first ambassador for stalls. So if you have been to our YouTube channel lately, you have seen some videos from her. And let me tell you, her personality is extremely infectious. And this woman is such a go-getter. And when it comes to starting a business that there's multiple people already doing what you're doing, she has always found a way to be different and go out and get the business. So major kudos to her on that. So Brandi, I'm going to let you just quickly tell a little bit more about yourself. And how many years have you been in business?
Yes, I'm Brandi. I have been in business for 3 years now, and I'm so excited. I literally cannot believe I've been in business for 3 years. It is crazy. It has flown by so quickly, and I have enjoyed like literally every milestone, every failure, every little bit of growth that I've had, because if you would have told me 3 years ago I would be sitting here right now with you, I never would have believed you.
Yay. Well, I'm glad that path, right? Because you had to go on some paths to get here, but I'm really, really glad that it led you down the path of heat decorating. And then we've also been able to have you grace us with your presence. So what type of market do you decorate for, or do you have a specific customer?
So I primarily do commercial, so a larger scale of customer apparel. I do a lot of schools as well. I do on occasion get that crazy bride, such as myself, and bridesmaids who want me to make some really cool swag. And I absolutely love when I do, because I don't always get the opportunity to work with really fun type of media. And so when I do get those odd orders, it makes it even more fun, because after 300 shirts, sometimes it becomes daunting. So it's really fun to switch it up.
So what would you say, you mentioned 300 shirts. So what would you say your average order size is?
So my average order size, I'd say on a realistic, for shirts, I'd say about three to 500.
That's awesome.
My hat orders are usually between like 100 to 200 hats. And I still can't believe, like, whenever I get like a repeat customer, they're like, oh, can I order another 500 shirts? I'm like, yeah, of course.
Of course. Yeah, let me just hold on.
Yeah.
You do your little happy day, like small
Yeah.
business happy dance or large business now, because I know you have grown. But okay, so what was the first piece of equipment that you ever purchased?
So my very first machine was a baby lock embroidery machine. I had that for probably a year, and then I discovered HTV, and I was like, what does HTV even stand for? I'm like, okay, I obviously need to like broaden my horizon and like spread my wings. And so I was researching and researching, and then I discovered stalls, ironically enough. And I was trying to contemplate like which type of a cutter and heat press to get, and I came across one of Josh Ellsworth's video. It was a video that he made like probably I think like 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I don't know, where
Been
he
a while.
yeah, it's been a really long time, where he like gave a demonstration on I think like on 8 cutters.
Okay.
And I was like, ooh, I need that Roland 24-inch cutter. And I was like, that thing looks so amazing. And I just knew if I bought it, I would, I would blow up, because whenever I set a goal and if I have it in mind, I run with it and I go with it, because I'm really big with, this is my goal. There's no going backwards. There's only going onward and upward.
Love
And
it.
then I bought, so I bought the 24-inch cutter. And then I bought the Max heat press. And honestly, I just have been blooming and blossoming ever since.
So, okay, let me get this straight. You purchased a cutter before
Vinyl
you
cutter.
had a heat press?
Well, actually, I purchased, yes, so I purchased the 24-inch cutter, but then I had to wait for the heat press for like 6 weeks, because it was like in the middle of the pandemic.
Okay. So you got it first, but it wasn't okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So then did you already have an order that you were wanting to fulfill when you purchased the cutter?
Yeah. So
Cool.
I had a 60 shirt order for my daughter's school. And it was I think it was front chest, like logo saying, and then like a saying on the pockets.
Yeah.
And I busted it out, but then I failed miserably because the vinyl was coming off like on the pockets, because I hadn't discovered what a pressing pillow was for.
Oh, you had all of the like merchandising elements on it.
Yeah. So like there was just like, if there wasn't an adequate amount of heat when I went to press all the sweatshirts.
Yeah.
I mean, not all the vinyl came off, but some of it did, some of it didn't. But it was it was definitely a lesson learned. And I was like, okay, I can't repeat this.
It was a learning experience for sure.
Yeah. But here I am, still motoring.
I mean, to think about, okay, so if you're just now tuning in, guys, Brandi is located in Colorado, and she owns a business called Innovative Threads, and she's been in business for 3 years. She started with embroidery and quickly fell in love with heat transfer vinyl and wanted to do more than just embroidery. And she purchased a vinyl cutter, a GS24, so an industrial size, not a craft cutter, which is completely okay. If you have a craft cutter, use a craft cutter, or you're looking at getting a craft cutter. But like when I said at the beginning that like she's just so ambitious, example A, I don't know what side you're on, but you're on this side for my screen. So yeah. Okay. So we are doing a project today, and Brandi gets to basically do the project of decorating with one of the new hologram colors. And yeah, go grab it. Do you have any of the sheets? Okay, there it is. So she is going to basically weed on camera so you guys can see or just hear her experience with the hologram, and then we will decorate it. And as you can see, she did a like large imprint, which is amazing. And then she's also personalizing. So what are these for, Brandi?
So I'm getting married 16 days. So I wanted to make some super cool swag for my bridesmaids, but I also wanted to make sure that I made something that they would use after the wedding. And so I didn't want to per se make anything that said bridesmaid, because I feel like after the wedding they probably wouldn't be willing to use them as much. So I wanted to make a super cute bag that had a cute saying with some super cute media. That was super funny and beautiful.
So if you guys didn't hear, Brandi works with a lot of corporate, she does a lot of corporate jobs, and she doesn't get to play with a lot of the sparkle, even though she loves it. So this is a really fun project where she's doing it obviously as gifts, but this is just an excellent way to really utilize hologram. It's a little bit more of a structured material. Okay. So what I mean by that is, in order to get, let me just pull this navy out. Hold on, Brandi. I'm going to see if I can there we go. Okay. So I want to show you guys some of the colors really fast, and then we'll get to the product. So this is the navy, and I got to stand up. This is going to drive me crazy. So this is beautiful. Okay, so this navy color, I'm telling you, it is even better in person. It has obviously like this holographic tint to it because it's hologram, but it almost gives us kind of that Brandi said mermaid tail when we were chatting earlier, and I think that's the perfect explanation for it.
You know what?
What'd you say?
It really reminds me of like a kaleidoscope. Remember those from like elementary school?
Yeah.
Like because you like keep like, you know,
moving,
like playing with it and moving it, rotating it. There you go. And depending on like the angle of the sun or the light hits, you always get something different. It's so cute. I love it. I'm obsessed.
Like I don't think, me personally, right? This is a personal experience. I don't think of navy as being like this beautiful color, right? It's a dark blue, it's almost black, but that navy, it's beautiful.
It is.
So yeah, anyway, that's my spiel on the navy. I just felt like there's just so much more to it that you can't see on camera or in picture, but in person it just takes on its own characteristic. Okay, so Brandi, I'm going to let you have the floor in terms of weeding. You cut with a Roland GS24. Do you remember like what? No, hold on. Let me pull you up. There we go. What cutter settings you ended up using for your GS24?
Yeah, so I cut at it was set at like 150, and then I loaded the media upside down.
Hey,
so then once I discovered to put it right side up, I cut it at like 130, and had I cut it the media with a newer blade, it probably would have cut the media beautifully. So I would highly recommend using either a newer blade versus an older dull blade. You know, obviously always load the media correctly. And I know sometimes it's challenging. I just envision other people might struggle with it because I struggled with it.
Hey, I told you I did it the other day and was like, what in the world, Kelly?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So the weeding of it is very, very easy, I will tell you, because I made this shirts and I switched out a brand new blade and I had absolutely no problems with weeding it. But I did cut this, and I'm going to show you. I cut this with the duller blade, and I found that it's a bit more difficult because of the dull blade, but it still works. And I'll show you. I think I'm going to picture it here. I'm going to.
Yeah. There you go. So one thing to keep in mind, everybody, for somebody that might have the thought of, well, I don't like working with that material, or that material doesn't cut well. always consider your blade. And I know that's such a simple thing to say. And if you have considered it and you still need to like work through to make it easier, I totally understand that. But that's Brandi's experience was a prime example of, okay, maybe I really should change out my blade or try a different blade, even if you feel like your blade shouldn't have anything wrong with it. So just be open to trying different things to see if you can make it better or work easier for you. Because as you can see, that bag, that looks awesome, especially at that large print. And I believe you said you got those bags off of Amazon, right?
Yeah, I sourced them. Yeah, Amazon. Amazon is my best friend.
Yeah, for accessories like that, are there any other places that you use, or is Amazon just really such a go-to place?
So I primarily use like SNS Activewear, Sanmar, like those two I outsource most of my apparel from. But like with smaller type orders, I really enjoy Amazon because I can just order like 2 or 3 or maybe like 10. And so I don't have to pay like a crazy amount on shipping since I'm a
Sure.
prime member.
Yeah. Okay. So do you use Amazon more because with the smaller quantities, you're able to save on shipping? Or do
Yeah.
you also find that you can just get pieces that are a little bit more unique than what you would find at those other two?
Probably more unique because, I'm very limited with the bigger type of um, wholesale
Sure.
options.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about what equipment you started with, and I know you're weeding. So
Yeah.
at any point you're like, hold on, because I know that sometimes if I am multitasking, I don't want you to pull up a heart or
No, it's good.
or
Like I
like
said, I
tear
would
the
highly recommend using a new blade.
what'd you say?
I would highly recommend using a newer blade.
Yep. So is it more of it just didn't cut deep enough?
Yeah, I didn't cut deep enough because I had initially like did the pre-cut testing and it made my blade more dull
Got it. Really
because I
quick.
didn't load my media correctly.
Oh, sure. Right. Well, that helps. It saves you time and energy, right? And
Yeah.
material. Okay, Brandi, Darren is asking, what design software do you use to create designs?
Let's see. So I have a Roland cut and print machine, and I love the Corel Draw for
Okay.
the software. And then for stalls, for like my smaller vinyl cutter, I like to use your guys' CAD Cut Live. Am I saying that
Yeah.
program just
Yep.
online? I feel
Yeah.
like it's so user friendly.
With hologram, guys, we cannot layer it. So just keep that in mind. You cannot layer hologram on top of hologram or anything on top of hologram, but you could put hologram on top of something like ultra weed because ultra weed itself is layerable. Okay, so there are 6 new colors, and I will show you while she's working at that. I'm gonna pop down so you guys can still watch her just to see how long it's taking. But I'm going to show you the colors in roll form. These are yards. And if you've ever ordered a yard as a sample just for yourself to try, this is how they come. And then on the side, as I wing out material, there is the color information and then the amount of material in there. So if you're like, I have no idea what color this is, you can at least save it in this container, or you could just write it on the inside with a Sharpie. Okay. So this is the new fuchsia. It's beautiful. Same thing. You're going to get a holographic effect. It's going to change colors. But if you notice like this compared to that navy, the navy, stop being a little creeper over here. The navy pulls a variety of colors where I really see more purple and pink in this versus something like yellow or green. Still beautiful, beautiful shade. And actually, now that I have it down, I can see a little bit of green, but I feel like it's definitely a true kind of berry type of material with the pink hues that it has. Then we've also got aqua, which is perfect for all things sea, water. And yep, same thing here. So we've got royal, green, pops of navy. Let's see if we can get this done. There we go. Shift a little bit. Still beautiful. Again, that carrier is giving us a little bit of reflection and gloss. So that's one thing that kind of stinks about not having the material cut, but that's okay because you still get to see what it looks like in person. This is the navy. Again, just now that we've seen those other two, it's almost kind of got a rainbow effect. And in the right light, you can really see the true navy color. But like I said, it's just beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
So much passion for a shade. You know, I feel like when we have a lot of different offerings and colors, sometimes we start to fall in love with like certain shades. Okay, this one's pretty magical. It is the rainbow. And while it looks a little intense, just keep in mind if you were to cut at certain parts, so like a heart might be all yellow or yellow and blue, and then it could be red and royal. So this is really cool and unique because you could just get different colors each time or a different look each time. And you could also cut it going horizontally. So you've got a little bit of different options in that material. You might have a little bit more waste changing to horizontal, but sometimes if you want a certain look, you just have to take those factors into consideration. We've got two left. This is gold crystal. I just wanted to say it correctly. So this is really, really pretty. It's kind of like a chunky flake. And it has a lot of character and definitely brings out some depth and dimension in the material. As you're looking at it, it definitely feels like there's a 3D effect to where you could be seeing into the material versus just something coming out or setting on top. And then, of course, there was silver crystal, okay? Now, what I'm going to show you next is the difference between the standard silver hologram and then the silver crystal. Everything's falling off my wall.
I'm just over here reading.
What'd you say?
But I'm just over here reading.
You're doing great. So this crystal, right? It's a little bit chunkier. Now this is the standard silver hologram. So it's definitely smaller, more, tiny confetti-like, where this is going to be like your chunky glitter. That's just the easiest way to explain it. But again, you've got, look at that. That just that's fun. That's really cool. All right. So now that you guys have seen the colors kind of in person, video, obviously, I think the squares in the colors on the material page, they do a little bit of justice, but there's just so much to this that you can only see in person, right? We can only capture so much. If you are curious, the temperature is 320, 10 to 15 seconds, firm pressure, and then it is a peel cold. So it's a little bit higher in terms of, temperatures, but still so fun. Okay, so Kelly actually said, I've used these. You do need a fresher blade and know that these dull blades more quickly. So I think that's an excellent little piece of information. So if you're planning on taking on a project with hologram, maybe you choose to make a hologram blade. And then that's the blade that you use. And as you realize it gets a little bit more difficult to cut, then that's the blade you replace, or take that blade and maybe use it for one of your thinner materials like Fashion Film Electric, Ultraweed. You can maybe try it with Premium Plus, but I like a pretty sharp blade as well with Premium. How we doing?
We're good. We're almost done. I'm telling you, that dull blade did not do me justice.
Beautiful.
Yes. There's like a few inclusions, but you know, it's still beautiful.
Sometimes we've got to like go through the struggles, right? To realize like, nope, not going to do that again.
I just wanted to be as real as possible. So you guys don't make my mistakes, you guys.
I don't want to say what not to do, because that sounds terrible, but like just use a newer blade.
A, make sure you load the media correctly, and B, newer blade.
I love it. Great tips.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys notice behind her Max, she also uses a 360. Now, did you buy that press before you had a job, or did you get the job first?
Oh, so I essentially got that heat press for free because I think I had a 250 hat order and I wanted leather patches. And I was like, well, I can't do that because I don't have a cap press machine. And they were like, well, we still want to support you. We want to use you. And we really, really want you to do these leather patches. No, they were embroidered patches rather. That's what it was. And I couldn't replicate the patch that they wanted with my embroidery machine. So I made them one sample using this heat press machine. And obviously, you can't normally do hats on it, but I was able to like MacGyver the hat underneath here so I could present a sample for them. And then because of that one sample, they ordered 250 hats from me. And I was able to purchase the Fusion IQ from that one order because I made a good amount of money, obviously, to purchase it.
Yeah, that's so I know that I want to ask you another question, but I'm going to wait. So go ahead and heat apply. Like I can't say. Let's see what it looks like. For everyone tuning in, go ahead and start. If you guys have any questions for myself or Brandi, get them in the comments now. The delay between typing and then what I can see, I don't know about you, Carly, but sometimes there's a crazy delay and I don't want to miss anybody's questions, especially if they're geared towards Brandi and we want her to answer them. Okay, so Brandi is obviously applying at 320 degrees. And then once she is complete, we will peel once it's cold. Brandi, do you hire out help?
Yes. So I'm getting pretty busy now, so I do have to hire somebody to help me, which is why I'm getting ready to purchase a second heat press so I could have both of us working at the same time.
And then cold peel.
Here it is. It's a cold peel, so I like to wait for it to, it's like a cold or warm peel, but I like it to be completely cooled before I take away the carrier.
Can't wait to see it just be like, oh.
And it's really hot in my room because it's like 80 degrees and we haven't turned on the air conditioner yet.
And you're standing right next to the heat press and you're live. There's a lot of temperatures like around you at the moment.
Very cool.
Okay, so let's I don't think there's any other questions at the moment. Design software, we went over that. All T-shirt Time said congratulations for
You.
on your wedding.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you. Okay, so what is something you do to go out and get new business, and how have you grown so much?
Excuse me. So the reason why I started my business essentially was because I worked for a company, and I feel like some companies become so large that they are you become so devalued as a employee. So after I had my daughter and I was getting ready to come back from maternity leave, I knew I wanted to start a business where I could navigate it from home. So I could bring home obviously a second income and still be a full-time mom. And I have always been super creative, and I knew I wanted to do something in that type of spectrum before I even knew like what decorating apparel even was. But my biggest thing in life is taking care of someone or any customer the way you would want to be taken care of. So word of mouth is really big for me personally. And if you treat your customers honestly the way you want to be treated, they will always recommend you. And furthermore, if you make a mistake and you completely crush a project and destroy it, being as transparent as possible will always make you grow and become the better person, and they will respect you so much more because of that.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yes.
So we have another question. Kevin says he is a brand new heat press owner, and I'm waiting on getting my cutter. Do you prefer one craft cutter over another?
I started big.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love it.
Although I have been wanting to get a smaller, like a craft cutter, because with my Roland, I can only do big projects, and as much as I love doing bigger projects, I think it would be fun to like do something really small. And so I have been interested in purchasing a smaller craft cutter. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. Because when you start a business, you're like, I'm going to make a million things. I'm going to have so much free time. But then when you start to grow and blossom and you turn into like this business owner, you're like, okay, I really have time to like eat. Let alone shop.
Or not. It's like you have to remind yourself to eat at that point.
You do.
So what's a piece of advice you'd like to share with somebody that's just starting or somebody that's been in the business for 20 years?
Oh my goodness. The one piece of advice that I always tell people, and it's so cliche, but comparison is the ultimate thief of joy. Don't ever compare your newer business or starting out to the person down the street who's been in business for 30 years, because if you don't fail, you won't grow. And if you don't explore, and if you don't continue to make mistakes with all these newer products and media, you'll never have new product to share with your customers.
I love it.
That's honestly comparison. Don't ever compare. I know people always say that, but it's so hard because, I have failed so much miserably with this new print and cut system. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get it eventually. And here I am 6 months later. I think I've had my machine, and I feel like I'm like really rocking it.
And what all do you print on? I know it's a print cut, but what all do you do with your print cut?
So for my what don't I do?
The bigger question.
So banners, stickers, decals. I'm getting ready to decorate this semi. Obviously printable HTV is probably my favorite thing, because you can get a new customer who's like, I want a sample within like 2 or 3 days. Okay, no problem, because I have a print and cut system, and I could literally print them a sample shirt the next day.
I love it.
It is so I don't have to like wait a week, which I don't mind waiting, but if you can print it like the same day, the faster you can present a sample to your customers, the more likely they're willing to support and shop for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that is one of the things that I know when we've talked numerous times. Guys, one thing that I think Brandi really kind of also sets herself apart is samples, right? And I know samples cost money. So for somebody starting out, there's always going to be pros and cons. Even for somebody that's been in the business for years, maybe you did samples at one point and you end up finding that they were costing you more money, or whatever. But Brandi, you run with samples, right? Like, is
Absolutely.
you do it?
Yeah, like honestly, a sample will sometimes cost me $15, like a hat, and the digitizing will cost me $15. It pays for itself. I always gravitate towards people I know that will purchase for me, because like if you go to a car dealership, if someone purchases a truck, they want to give a hat to the person that just spent $50,000, and they want their customers wearing their brand. So branding is really important, because you can't grow unless you brand, right?
Yeah.
So samples. I know it's expensive. I started with an embroidery machine and I borrowed $19,000. Okay. So I know it's hard and it's expensive, but if you have a goal in mind, and if you don't give up and you don't become discouraged, you'll reach every goal you have. And samples. People want to see your work. They want to see you. They want to support you. And it's crazy because people always want to support the little person. Like you and I are like the little people. They want to support us over, Nike.
Yeah. They want you. They want
Yeah.
you, Brandi. They
Yeah.
want Brandi. Yep. I love it. Okay, so Debbie asks, which printable HTV are you using in your?
So I love express prints from Stalls. Oh, and their soft opaque too is amazing. Oh my goodness. I intentionally took a job where I had to print and cut 8 shirts for this very specific design for these moms. And like the detail was so crazy, but the soft opaque too, like I wish I had a sample to like show you, but like the details on like the cuts, like the soft opaque made it so much easier to weed. And then I used that high tack mask and it's like ripped away. It looked like a beautiful like screen print, or media print from like Stalls. And like it was so impressive, because I'm still new. I'm still making mistakes and still trying to navigate the print and cut system. So express prints, probably my second favorite. The soft opaque 2 is for sure number 1. It is so easy. It's so easy to use. It's amazing.
That's like the best. Your enthusiasm for it, like I love it. Do you sublimate at all?
I do. I have a sublimation printer, but the thing with sublimation, you have to use like a 60% or greater percent of like polyester, right? In order for it to sublimate. And so I just spent a crib load of money on my print and cut system. I can just print it, weed it, and bam, it's done.
Put it on there. So if you're just now tuning in, we are almost complete. So I'm going to just quickly like summarize. If you have a couple of other questions, make sure you pop them in. But this is Brandi with Innovative Threads, and she has a heat press. She started with embroidery and embroidery only, and then went kaboom, and she cuts vinyl on a GS24. She has a Max. Is that a 16 by 16 or 16 by 20?
16 by 16.
And then she went to a 360 Fusion IQ, a print cut system. She just let everybody know that she can also sublimate. She is the gal that never says, I can't do it. She finds a way to get it done. And they are like ants. They just keep coming back. Her business is word of mouth, and it's been so cool to watch her grow over the last 3 years and just dive into new things. She's not afraid of new things, which I know change and new can be scary or difficult for some, and that's okay. What is your favorite thing to decorate?
My favorite thing. I am seriously obsessed with all things that sparkle in life. So like I have 3 daughters. I'm a girl mom. So like rip away glittery vinyl is like, and coats. You can do so many things with denim coats. Any type of a coat. You can make an average coat look like it's $500 coat. I
Do you
love
have
coats.
one around you? Do you have one that you've done? I know you've done a lot of rip away, or you do a lot of rip away, but do you have one on like by you?
Upstairs. I'm gonna go get
No.
it. I'll be over there. I'm gonna go get it for real.
Yeah, go get it.
Okay.
Go grab it. Okay. All right. So Brandy's gonna go grab it. She has done a rip away applique video for us on YouTube. So you can, if you've never heard of rip away or you're not quite sure what that is, she is going to show you. She's going to go grab this jacket, but it is using a satin stitch. Then you're going to lay specifically glitter flake is what she used on top, just a sheet. You don't have to do any type of cutting. And then you finish with your I think I said satin stitch, but it would be I think it's called like an outline stitch. Sorry for those of you that are embroidery and you know I'm talking incorrectly. And then you finish with a satin stitch. And then all you have to do is take that excess material and just rip it away from the logo. And you have this embroidered, right, design, but simply adding in heat transfer vinyl, and you don't have to do any type of crazy cutting for it. So that's what she's talking about. But then she's also got a video on how to do it. So this is what she did. Oh, that's cute.
I'm actually going to be doing another coat because I found one. Oh, the lips.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, so thank you, Kelly. He said it's called a running stitch. And Melanie also said you do have to tack it down once you rip away, which is correct. So those jackets, that's something that Brandi, you love to do. And I love that you love to do it.
I do them all the time for people.
Okay, so go ahead and peel that carrier and we will wrap up with the reveal. Do you do more HTV or printed transfers? Like Debbie, do you mean like screen printed transfers, like goof proof? Because heat transfer vinyl can also be printed, so it's kind of a double. You mean solid roll HTV versus printed? Let me see. Okay, here, let's see that. Let's see that bag. Oh, not on me. Gorgeous.
It's so beautiful. It's so weird because my camera's like obviously turned so, but it's really pretty.
Okay, so Debbie did confirm screen printed. So do you do more screen printed transfers or more HTV?
Okay, so if I'm doing a school uniform, I am usually always doing for like numbers and names. I'm always doing the regular black HTV. I'm always using my Roland print or my Roland versus my print and cut because I can bust out 80 jerseys in like probably like 6 hours.
Quick, yeah.
Yes, but if it's a colorful type of a logo, then I'm going to use a print and cut system. I think I had a logo here. Oh, I do. Hold on. Like I did this recently, which is, hold on, there you go, which is super simple.
Yeah.
That's what I love about I love the just regular HTV because you can layer it. But now I can just use like one layer.
One and done, right? You don't have to worry about layering.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Okay, guys. Well, we've hit the 45-minute mark. We are gonna wrap up. And Brandi, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being our guinea pig on this.
Yeah, no problem. And you find out, like, look, once it's stuffed, it's
Uh,
beautiful.
I
I'm
love
obsessed.
it. It looks so good. I'm so glad that that navy really had the pop that, you know, you were wanting and needing, and it looks beautiful. Okay, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please let us know, okay? Let us know if you kind of like this format. We would love to be able to continue to do this more and bring on special guests and really kind of show a different side of the world. You know, when you can bring on somebody that is in a different market or segment, hearing from them, I feel like is always a great, it's a great spin. You never know what it might trigger for you on creativity or even business ideas. So Brandi, the best of luck on your wedding day. And I say
Thank you.
luck, so everything goes the way you want it to.
Thank
And
you.
enjoy that 80-degree weather and stay amazing.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.